The phone buzzed against the nightstand at 4:47 a.m. A low, insistent vibration that dragged me out of shallow sleep. I reached for it blindly, heart already thudding because no call at that hour ever carried good news. Isabel's name glowed on the screen. I answered before the second ring. "I'm leaving," she said. No greeting. No softening. Just the sentence delivered like a verdict. I sat up so fast the room tilted. "What?" "I can't stay married to you, Claire. Not after what happened tonight." The bedroom was dark except for the blue light from the phone painting stripes across the duvet. I could hear rain tapping the window, steady, indifferent. "What happened tonight?" Isabel jumped. "From the Cairo rooftop. She's gone." The name landed like a fist to the sternum. Isabel. Not Isabel. The other one. The one whose existence we had both agreed to bury under polite silence and careful omissions. My throat closed. She jumped. 11 stories. They're saying she didn't survive the fall. Isabel's voice cracked once, then steadied. "I have to go. I have to figure out what this means." "You're telling me your ex-girlfriend just killed herself, and your immediate response is to end our marriage?" The words tasted metallic. "We've been together 8 years. Married 4. You don't get to drop that on me and hang up." "I'm not hanging up," she said quietly. "I'm telling you I'm done pretending. I've been pretending for years." I stared at the wall where our wedding photo hung. Both of us laughing, wind in our hair on Alki Beach, gold bands glinting. That version of us felt like strangers now. Pretending what? That I'm over her. That I chose you because I wanted to. That I didn't spend every quiet moment wondering if I made the wrong decision. I pressed the heel of my hand to my forehead. "You told me she was the past. You said it was over long before we met." "It was. And then it wasn't." Her breath hitched. "She texted me last week. Said she needed to talk. I didn't answer. I thought ignoring her would make it easier. Now she's dead and I keep thinking if I had answered maybe." "Don't," I cut in. "Don't finish that sentence. You don't get to rewrite history because she chose to end her life." Silence stretched between us, thin and sharp. Then Isabel whispered, "I'm sorry, Claire, but I can't keep living a lie. Not after this." She hung up. I sat there holding the dead phone, rain drumming harder now, as if the sky itself wanted in. My mind kept circling the same loop. Isabel on the roof, wind tearing at her coat, the city lights blurring below. Did she think of Isabel in that last second? Did she think of me? I didn't cry. Not yet. Instead I got up, walked to the kitchen, and poured a glass of water I didn't drink. The clock on the microwave blinked 5:03. In 4 hours I had to be at the office, leading a team meeting on quarterly projections. In 4 hours the world would expect me to function. But the world didn't know that my wife had just dismantled our life over a ghost. I thought of the first time Isabel mentioned Isabel. We were 6 months into dating, lying on a blanket in Volunteer Park. Her head on my stomach while I read. She said it casually like weather. "I used to date someone named Isabel. Same name, different spelling. Weird, right?" She laughed, but the laugh didn't reach her eyes. I asked if it was serious. She said yes, then quickly added, "But it ended badly. I left. End of story." I believed her because I wanted to. Because love at that stage is mostly faith. Now that faith lay in pieces. By 7 I was dressed, charcoal blazer, cream blouse, hair pulled back tight, and standing at the window watching the ferries cut across the Sound. Isabel hadn't come home last night. She'd texted once at 2 a.m. "Staying with my sister. Need space." I hadn't replied. What was there to say? I drove to work on autopilot, the radio off. Every red light felt like judgment. At the parking garage I sat in the car for 10 minutes, gripping the wheel, trying to locate the woman who used to walk into meetings calm and commanding. She was gone. In her place was someone hollow. Someone who kept hearing her wife's voice saying I can't keep living a lie. The elevator ride up was silent except for the soft ding of floors. When the doors opened on 12, Jenna from accounting was waiting. "You look like hell," she said, half teasing. "Rough night." I forced a smile. "Something like that." She leaned closer. "Heard about the suicide at Cairo. One of their producers. Isabel something. Tragic." My stomach dropped. "Yeah," I managed. Tragic. The day crawled. Emails blurred. Numbers refused to make sense. At lunch I sat in the break room staring at a salad I didn't touch, replaying every moment I might have missed. The nights Isabel came home late, smelling faintly of wine and someone else's perfume. The way she'd sometimes flinch when I touched her shoulder in bed. The silences that grew longer each year. I thought about calling her. I thought about screaming. I thought about driving to her sister's house and demanding she look me in the eye and explain why 8 years could be erased in one night. But I didn't do any of those things. Instead, I opened my laptop and searched Isabel's name. The news articles were already up. Respected Cairo News producer dies in apparent suicide. Photo of her, sharp cheekbones, dark eyes, half smile that never quite reached them. 34. Same age as Isabel. They had met in college journalism program at UW. Isabel had been the star, fearless, always chasing the bigger story. Isabel had been quieter, more careful. They dated for 3 years. Then Isabel left her for a man she met at an internship. That was the version Isabel told me. Clean. Finite. But the internet is cruelly thorough. Old Facebook posts, archived tweets, a blog entry from 2017 where Isabel wrote about heartbreak without naming names. Some people leave and take the best parts of you with them. You spend years trying to grow new ones, but the scars stay tender. I closed the laptop. My hands were shaking. When I got home at 7, Isabel's coat was on the hook. Her suitcase stood open in the bedroom, half-packed. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor. "You're here," I said stupidly. "I came to get my things." Her voice was small. I stayed in the doorway. "You're really doing this?" She looked up. Her eyes were red, swollen. "I have to. Because of her. Because of me." She stood slow like the movement cost her. "I loved you, Claire. I still do. But not the way I loved her. And now that she's gone, I can't pretend anymore. Every time I look at you, I see the life I chose instead of the one I wanted. And I hate myself for it." I felt the air leave my lungs. "So you're punishing me for your regret?" "No. I'm setting you free. You deserve someone who chooses you completely. Not someone who's always looking over her shoulder." I laughed, bitter, short. "You think this is freedom? You think walking away fixes anything?" "I don't know what fixes anything," she whispered. "But staying would destroy us both." She reached for my hand. I let her take it. Her fingers were cold. We stood like that for a long minute, 2 women who once promised forever, now strangers bound by grief. Then she let go. "I'll be at my sister's tonight," she said. "I'll come back for the rest of my stuff tomorrow." She walked past me. The front door clicked shut. I sank to the floor, back against the wall, and finally let the tears come. Not loud sobs. Quiet, choking ones. Because the worst part wasn't the leaving. It was realizing I had spent years loving someone who had never fully belonged to me. And now she never would. Morning arrived, gray and merciless. I woke on the couch, still in yesterday's clothes, neck stiff, mouth dry. The apartment smelled faintly of Isabel's perfume, jasmine and cedar, and the absence of it made the space feel larger, colder. I showered, dressed, went to work. Routine was the only thing keeping me upright. During the 10 o'clock stand-up, my boss asked if I was okay. I said yes. He didn't believe me but didn't press. That was the beauty of corporate politeness. No one ever had to say the real thing out loud. At noon I received a text from Isabel's sister, Lauren. "She's not eating. She barely slept. Can you come talk to her?" I stared at the message until the screen went dark. Part of me wanted to say no. Part of me wanted to drive over and shake her until she admitted this was madness. Most of me wanted to disappear. I went. Lauren opened the door looking exhausted. "She's in the guest room." I tried to get her to talk. She just keeps apologizing. To everyone but herself. I found Isabel sitting on the floor. Knees drawn up, back against the bed. She didn't look up when I entered. "You didn't have to come?" Lauren asked. She nodded slowly. "I'm sorry." "Stop saying that." I sat across from her, legs crossed. "Sorry doesn't change anything." "I know." Silence settled between us, heavy as wet wool. Finally she spoke. "I keep seeing her on the roof. The way she used to stand there during late shifts, staring at the city like she could will a story out of the skyline. She always said the view made her feel small in the best way. I wonder if that's what she wanted in the end. To feel small enough that nothing hurt anymore. I swallowed. Did you love her that much? Isabel's eyes met mine. Yes. And no. I loved who I was with her. Fearless. Reckless. Alive in a way I haven't been since. And with me. With you I was safe. Her voice broke. Safe is not the same as happy. The words landed like stones in still water. Ripples spread through every memory we shared, the quiet mornings making coffee, the road trips to the Olympic Peninsula, the night we adopted our cat, Milo, who was currently hiding under our bed at home. All those moments apparently counterfeit. So you're throwing it away, I said. I'm not throwing anything away. I'm admitting it was never real. I stood up. It was real to me. She didn't answer. I left without another word. That afternoon I drove to the Cairo building. I didn't know why. Grief makes you do stupid things. The police tape was gone, but a small cluster of flowers and candles had appeared at the base of the building. A handwritten note fluttered under a rock. You were the best of us. Rest now. I stood there a long time. People passed, heads down, avoiding eye contact. No one wanted to look up at the roof where she had stood. On impulse I called my mother. She answered on the second ring. Claire? Honey, what's wrong? I told her everything. The suicide. The divorce. The confession. She listened without interrupting, the way she always did when I was falling apart. When I finished, she said quietly, Do you want me to fly out? No. I just needed to say it out loud. Sweetheart, sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes people carry wounds we can't see. And sometimes they bleed on the people who love them most. I thought we were happy. You were. She wasn't. That's the hardest truth. I hung up and drove home. Milo greeted me at the door, tail flicking. I picked him up, buried my face in his fur. He purred, oblivious. That night I dreamed of Isabel. She was standing on the roof, coat open, hair whipping. She looked at me, not angry, not sad. Just tired. Tell her I'm sorry, she said. Tell her I finally understood. I woke gasping. The clock read 3:12 a.m. I reached for Isabel's side of the bed. Empty. The next day she came for her things. We packed in silence. Clothes, books, the small ceramic vase she bought in Portland. Milo watched from the couch, eyes wide. When the last box was taped, she paused at the door. I don't know how to say goodbye. Then don't. She nodded once. I'll send the lawyer's information tomorrow. I watched her carry the boxes to the elevator. The doors closed. She was gone. I stood in the hallway until the light timed off. Then I walked back inside, locked the door and slid to the floor. For the first time since the phone call, I allowed myself to feel the full weight of it. 8 years reduced to a handful of boxes and a note on the fridge that read in her neat handwriting, I'm sorry I couldn't be what you deserved. I cried until there was nothing left. Weeks passed in fragments. I went to work, came home, fed Milo, slept in fits. Friends called. I said I was fine. They didn't believe me but stopped asking. Isabel filed for divorce. Irreconcilable differences. No fault. Clean. The paperwork arrived in a thick envelope that felt obscene in its banality. I signed where indicated, hand steady. My lawyer said I was being remarkably reasonable. I didn't tell him reasonable had nothing to do with it. One evening I found an old journal in the back of the closet. Isabel's. I shouldn't have read it. I did anyway. Entries from 6 years ago. Claire makes me feel steady. Like the ground won't shift. Isabel made me feel like I was flying. I chose steady. I hope it's enough. Another, dated 3 years later. Dreamed of Isabel again. She was laughing the way she used to, head thrown back. Woke up crying. Claire slept through it. I hate that I still miss her. I hate that I'm scared Claire will notice. The last entry was dated 2 weeks before the suicide. She texted. I deleted it without reading. But I keep wondering. What if she needed help? What if I could have stopped it? I'm drowning in guilt and Claire doesn't even know why I'm distant. I'm a coward. I closed the journal. My chest ached. I drove to Lauren's house the next day. Isabel was there, thinner, shadows under her eyes. I read your journal, I said. She flinched. You had no right. I know. But I needed to understand. She looked away. And did you? Enough to know you've been punishing yourself for years. And me along with you. She wrapped her arms around herself. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. Silence. I took a breath. I'm not here to beg you to stay. I'm here to say I forgive you. Not because you deserve it. Because I need to let go. Her eyes filled. Claire. Don't. Just let me say this. I loved you. Completely. Even when you couldn't love me back the same way. That wasn't your fault. It wasn't mine. It just was. She started crying then, quiet shoulder-shaking sobs. I didn't touch her. I didn't need to. When she quieted, I said, I'm selling the apartment. I can't live there anymore. Milo's coming with me. She nodded. He always liked you better. I almost smiled. Almost. I left without hugging her. Some endings don't need touch. That night I started packing. Books first. Then dishes. Then the wedding album. I opened it once, looked at the photos, us smiling, us kissing, us cutting cake, and felt nothing but a dull, distant sadness. I closed it and put it in the donate box. The next morning I received a call from the King County Medical Examiner's office. They had Isabel's personal effects. Would I accept them on behalf of Isabel? She had refused. I said yes. 2 days later I picked up a small cardboard box. Inside, a watch, a set of keys, a notebook, a phone dead, and a folded letter addressed to Isabel. I didn't open it. I drove straight to Lawrence. Isabel was on the porch when I arrived. She saw the box and froze. This is yours, I said. I'm not reading it. That's between you two. She took it with trembling hands. Why are you doing this? Because you need closure. And I need to be done. She looked at me then, really looked. You're leaving Seattle, aren't you? Yes. Portland, maybe. Somewhere new. She nodded slowly. I'm proud of you. The word stung and soothed at once. I turned to go. Claire, she called. I stopped. Thank you, she whispered, for loving me when I couldn't love myself. I didn't answer. I got in the car and drove away. Portland was rain and bridges and strangers who didn't know my name. I rented a small house in Selwood near the river. Milo claimed the window seat immediately. I started a new job, same field, different company. The work was familiar. The quiet was new. I didn't date. I didn't want to. The thought of opening myself again felt like pressing on a bruise. Months passed. Seasons shifted. I walked the Springwater corridor every weekend, Milo trotting beside me. I learned to sit with the ache instead of fighting it. One Saturday I received a letter. No return address. Isabel's handwriting. I opened it on the porch. Claire, I don't know if you'll read this. I don't know if you should. But I need to say it. I opened Isabel's letter the night you brought the box. She wrote it the day she died. She said she was sorry for everything. For holding on too long. For letting go too late. She said she finally understood that love isn't possession. It's release. She asked me to be happy. Not for her. For me. I'm trying. I've started therapy. I'm learning how to forgive myself. It's harder than I thought. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to believe me. But I want you to know I'm grateful for the years you gave me, for the steadiness, for the way you loved without keeping score. I'm not asking for anything. I just needed you to know I'm trying to become someone who can love fully. Even if it's too late for us. I hope Portland is kind to you. I hope Milo is still stealing your pillows. I hope one day you wake up and the first thing you feel isn't sadness. With all the love I couldn't give you properly. Isabel. I folded the letter. Milo jumped onto my lap, purring. I scratched behind his ears and watched the river move past. I didn't write back. But I kept the letter in the drawer beside my bed. Another year passed. I met someone. Her name was Nora. She was a graphic designer, funny, kind, no ghosts in her eyes. We took it slow. Very slow. She didn't ask about my past until I was ready to tell her. When I did, she listened. Then she said, "You survived. That's enough." We moved in together 6 months later. Milo approved. I still thought about Isabel sometimes. Not with pain. With a quiet, distant tenderness. The way you think about a storm after it's passed. One evening Nora and I were cooking dinner. Pasta, wine, jazz on low. My phone buzzed. A text from Lauren. Isabel's getting married. To a woman she met at a writing retreat. Her name is Elena. She seems happy. Really happy. I stared at the screen. Nora glanced over. Everything okay? I smiled small real. Yeah, everything's okay. I texted back. I'm glad. Then I turned off the phone and went back to chopping garlic. Later that night, lying beside Nora, I thought about the question that had haunted me for years. Did Isabel ever really love me? The answer didn't matter anymore. What mattered was that I had loved her. Completely. And that love had not destroyed me. It had changed me, sharpened me, taught me what I was willing to accept and what I wasn't. I closed my eyes. The rain tapped the roof. Milo curled between us. I slept without dreams. 3 years after the rooftop, I stood in a bookstore in Portland's Pearl District. Nora was at home with a cold. I had come alone to pick up a novel she wanted. The shelves smelled of paper and coffee. I was browsing when I heard her voice. Claire. I turned. Isabel stood 5 feet away, holding a hardcover. She looked different, hair shorter, eyes clearer. Older but softer. Hi, I said. She smiled, hesitant. I didn't know you lived here. I didn't know you visited. Elena's family is in Eugene. We're up for the weekend. I nodded. Congratulations, by the way. Lauren told me. Thank you. She looked down at the book in her hands. It's strange seeing you. Yeah. We stood there, 2 women who once shared a life, now strangers in the same aisle. She spoke first. I never thanked you properly. For letting me go. You didn't need to. I did. And I do now. She met my eyes. You gave me the space to figure out who I was. Without you, I might never have. I felt something loosen in my chest. I'm glad. Are you happy? She asked. I thought of Nora's laugh, Milo's weight on my feet, the quiet mornings where nothing hurt. Yes. Her smile was genuine. Good. We talked for a few more minutes, small things, safe things. Then she glanced at her watch. I should go. Elena's waiting. I nodded. Take care, Isabel. You too, Claire. She walked away. I watched her until she turned the corner. I bought Nora's book and drove home. That night I told Nora about the encounter. She listened, head on my shoulder. When I finished, she said, You okay? Yeah. It felt like closing a book. She kissed my temple. Then close it. I did. But sometimes late at night I still wonder. Isabel chose to leave because she couldn't live with the guilt of Isabel's death. She believed staying would have been a betrayal of herself, of the love she once felt, of the woman who died thinking she wasn't enough. I chose to let her go because I believed love shouldn't be a cage. We both paid prices. She lost the safety of our life together. I lost the woman I thought was my forever. But we both found something else. So tell me, was she right to leave? Or was it just another way of running?